In the past few weeks, gold has soared, surpassing the 4,000 per ounce level. If you missed the gold rally, don't worry. In this video, we'll look at the financial assets that, like gold, are likely to rise significantly in the coming month. So, this is the chart, the long-term chart, and as you can see, of course, we had in the past month an acceleration for prices, but the gold started really to rise at the end in 2022. And the reason why the gold started to rise so much goes back to the Russian-Ukraine war. I made a video 3 years ago. As you can see, this is our Italian YouTube channel. Of course, this video is in Italian, so I'm not going to share with you. But in this video, what we said was exactly what is happening right now. And very simple, in a very simple terms, we said in this video, the situation regarding Russia and Ukraine in the short term is very good for the United States, because at the end of the day, they started to sell liquefied natural gas to Europe instead of Europeans buy gas from Russia, because of course all the transaction between Russia and United States and Europe were blocked. So we started as Europe to buy gas from the United States. But in the long run, this was something really bad for the United States, because I don't know if you remember, but United States freezed all the investment made by Russian oligarchs in dollars. And this was a really stupid move from the United States, because since then, since that moment, the dollars were used as a safe haven. Okay, all the countries from across the globe were buying dollars for protecting themselves for turbulence in the economy. Okay, and what happened was really a lose of faith in in the United States, because try to imagine you are, I don't know, India, Pakistan, or some other countries, for example, also China, and you see that if you do something United States doesn't want to do, like the war in Ukraine, your dollars doesn't mean nothing anymore. Okay, they can switch off your dollars, and your dollars, your investments in Treasury, United States Treasury, doesn't th- they worth nothing anymore, because United States decided to freeze all this money. And this was a very stupid move, in my opinion. And starting from that point, what we said in this video was, be careful, because all the other nation, except from European nation, they will start to look themselves around, and they will start to find alternatives to the dollars. And this is exactly what happened. This is exactly why the gold skyrocketed. And this is exactly what we can see from this chart. Because look, in particular, the central banks started to invest in gold heavily. If we watch this chart, we can definitely see that starting from the war in Ukraine, the magnitude of the investment in gold skyrocketed. Why? Very simple. Because central banks started to say, oh my God, if we invest heavily in dollar and we do something that United States doesn't like, they can freeze our investments. And so this is why central banks started to buy heavily gold. And this is something, of course, that we can see from this chart and started exactly from the war in between Russia and Ukraine. But if we see this other chart, which is very interesting, we can definitely see that the fate in the United States economy started to declining back in 2008. In this chart, we can see the world percentage of US debt held overseas. It means this chart show us how many debt was is overseas, so in other countries. And as you can see, the investments in United States debt started to decline starting from 2008. Probably, if you have my age, I'm 41. If you see this chart, you can really understand that the fate in the United States economy started to shrink starting from the subprime bubble. Okay? Back to the 90s, as we can see here on the chart, no matter what, but all the countries around the world were investing heavily in the dollars, even in a period that was really bad for the stock market in the year 2000. Money continued to flow inside the United States debt. And as you can see in this chart here, the world share of gold in official reserve assets started to rise exactly when the fate in the United States economy and government starting to shrink. Okay? I would like to show you this chart because, in my opinion, this is a trend that is not gonna end very soon. If I try to imagine the future, I really think this trend in not investing anymore in dollars will continue for the next 20 years, I think. And this is why I really think that the investments in gold by central banks will continue for many, many years ahead. And this is something really important to understand right now because, of course, the gold is very high now. And if we ask our artificial intelligence what we can expect in the near future, of course, we can see a drop. And if we use our very powerful time machine, here we are, we can definitely see. Let me refresh the page and we can go back a little bit in time. As you can see, the drop already started, and we can definitely expect a 15% in drop, a 15% drop in prices for the gold, especially because we had a really parabolic move on the upside, and this kind of move in generally turns in a drop as the artificial intelligence found in the past. Because if you don't know the projection tool, the software goes back in the past, find all the previous period where the chart moved exactly like it did in these 3 months, okay, and we give us the average of what happened in the past. So I really think in the long run, the gold will skyrocket again. I really think in 10 years we can definitely find a gold at 10,000. But at the moment, in my opinion, it's better to wait, because especially if you would like to build a long position in order to protect yourself from this losing faith in the United States, okay, we can definitely wait for a drop in prices. That, by the way, the artificial intelligence, the projection is suggesting to us, okay? We cannot use the COT report at the moment because thanks to the shutdown of the United States government, the COT report is not updated. Okay, so we have to wait in order to use the gold. But what is more important, in my opinion, is that sooner or later the central banks, they will need to start to invest in bitcoins. Okay, because of course they can buy gold, but sooner or later central banks from all across the globe will start to invest in bitcoin as a very secure asset. If we go here on this page, we can see something really interesting, because at the moment only United States, China, United Kingdom, Bhutan, El Salvador, and Germany, and a little bit of Ukraine, only this country has crypto in their kavo, let's say. And talking about the United States, this is not an official reserve. These are bitcoins that has been confiscated from someone who made, for example, fraud and these kind of things. So it's not an official reserve. I would like to show you something, because as you probably know, if you follow this webinar every week, I'm Italian, but I live in Swiss. And if we go here and we put this page in English, in Switzerland, you can, as as a citizen, you can promote an initiative, okay, that can become, if citizens agrees, law. And in this case, this is just an example, because something like that is happening all across the globe. Someone is asking to the Swiss central bank to start to invest in Bitcoin. As you can see, Article 99 of the Swiss Constitution currently states the Swiss National Bank shall create sufficient currency reserves from its revenues. Part of these reserves shall be held in gold. We propose adding 3 words to the end of the sentence, and in Bitcoin. And this is something which is happening not only in Switzerland, where this could become something real very soon, but all across the globe. And in my opinion, thanks to the solidity that Bitcoin demonstrated in the previous years, this is something that will definitely happen. And if central banks will start to buy Bitcoin as reserve, I really think that the Bitcoin price will skyrocket really, really high. Okay. Also, here we can try to have a short term projection. And as we saw many times in this webinar, if we go also back in the past with our projection, we can definitely see that most of the projection for the future are very bullish. Okay, and I really think that if we think that the world is going to abandon the dollar very quietly, but very, I mean, very slowly. But if we really think this is a long term trend, as I think, I'm really that convinced that this is a long-term trend. Sooner or later, central banks will start to buy Bitcoin too. Okay, and this is very interesting, guys, because if we try to estimate how far the Bitcoin can go, I really think that very soon, in my opinion, before the end of the year, we will reach $150,000 for Bitcoin. And in less than 3 years, we will find Bitcoin at more than 300,000. Okay? Roy, well, I will be voting yes for sure. Yes, of course. Of course. I will do it. I will vote yes for sure because I really believe that Bitcoin uh, will be a reserve of currency for many, many economies. And this is why I can show you directly on one of my account. As you can see, I invested quite heavily in Bitcoin. And at the moment, this is the most important part of my portfolio, the one I share with the public. Okay. I really believe Bitcoin can really skyrocket a lot. And also, if we see the projection, we can definitely find very strong projection for the future of Bitcoin. So, for example, here we can expect a plus 26% in performance close to the end of the year. Something very important. I know, guys, you use a lot of the quantum screener, which is a screener based on seasonality and projection on this side. This is a very nice tool. You can use it in order to find opportunities. Starting from today, we added all the indexes you can find in the forecaster. You can find also, for example, the world index. You can find the S&P 500 sectors. You can find the Russell 2000. This is a very nice achievement because now you can find the best seasonality and projection opportunities on every market across the globe. Roy, thank you. A great improvement. Thank you very much. Timothy, would investments that score well under quantum screener in both seasonality and projection be especially like to perform well? Could this filter be incorporated? Yes, Timothy, of course, because if you have a nice, let's say, outlook, both on seasonality and projection, it means the forecast is very solid because both with seasonality and projection, you can try to see the future of a stock, of an index, of a commodity, on every financial asset. But the um the the calculation behind seasonality and projection are completely different. So if you find the same output both on seasonality and projection. Of course, you have a very strong forecast. And yes, this is a spoiler. We will add a section with seasonality plus projection where you can mix the seasonality and projection in order to find very, very solid forecast. Yes. Yes. As you probably know, Timothy and all the other ones are listening, we are constantly improving the forecaster, and we are constantly working in order to give you the best tool ever for analysis. And believe me, we will grow a lot when we are working and investing a lot in order to give you a tool which doesn't exist all across the globe. Okay? Um, oh, Scott, the screenshot camera icon isn't working on Quantum Screener. Let me see. Because yesterday we had some problem, not because of us, but because, yes, it's working. Let me check if everything is okay. Yes, it's working. It's working properly. Yes. Can you check, Scott? Because yesterday we had some problem, but the problem was because of Azure server were down. On projection, but not on quantum screener. Ah, okay. Yes, of course. Let me check. Ah, okay. We don't have the screenshot camera here. Yeah. We don't have at the moment, but we can ask our developers to add. I don't think it's too difficult. Anil, very happy to be part of the fam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you stop quantum screening from switching back to all instrument after swapping between seasonality and projection? Ooh, let me take a picture to this comment because I have to understand it better, but I will do it later. And guys, if you have some questions, some suggestion in particular, please write us an email here, info@forecaster.biz, because we are very interested in your opinions and your feedback and your suggestions. Okay? Because many ideas came from you, so we are very happy to share with you. Okay? And that's it, guys. For today, we can stop here. My idea was to share with you my idea, which is very heavily and strongly long on Bitcoin. And that's it. I mean, for example, it's very funny because if we open this video, and as you can see here, we were talking about the gold, and look, we made a prediction for the gold. This was 3 years ago. We were at less than $2,000 per ounce, and we said probably gold will skyrocket to 3,000. And if we switch to um, the Bitcoin, here we are. We were at 38,000. And now I really think that we are in the same situation for Bitcoin, because if we grab the chart and we go here, I really cannot understand why Bitcoin is not at the all-time high. It's here on a very important low, and prices are here on a very important supportive level, which in my opinion will be the trampoline in order to reach new all-time high. Okay? So this is why I'm betting heavily on Bitcoin. And the macro situation, I really think will give the opportunity to Bitcoin to become a very important commodity, or I don't know how to say, a reserve currency for the entire world. And guys, we only have 21,000 Bitcoin, and sooner or later, all across the globe, many people will love to have Bitcoin in their portfolio. Okay? So, as I told you, if you have any question regarding the software, if you have any question regarding a specific tool, please use the chat. We have our guys at the customer care, which are really good and really nice. And because it's difficult for me to help all the people inside the chat in the webinar. And that's it. Thank you very much. If you have 1 minute of your life and you would like to give me a present, go in Google, write forecaster.biz, and please go here where you can find the reviews and leave us a review, because it's very important for us to have review from all across the globe in English. If you have 1 minute, please write us a review, of course, 5 stars, mentioning, if you can, AI and all the new feature we just added powered by AI, like for example, the projection. If you have 2 minutes, please go to the Trustpilot page. In this one, I can also give you the link, so you can go directly if you have time. And please, also here, if you write a review, thank you very much, because it's very important for us. Vasim, done already, 10 star. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Anil, remind everyone to give 5 star on Transpilot and Google. Thank you very much. Tiam, China is the biggest buyer of gold for their reserve. You think they will buy Bitcoin because they like physical gold? I really think it will be normal to buy Bitcoin because it's already a very important asset. If, as I think, Bitcoin will the um, the the Swiss National Bank will start to buy Bitcoin, and I can give you this link if you want to read the entire page. This is an official initiative in Switzerland. I really think that all the other banks will start to buy Bitcoin, and I really think that Bitcoin will be 1 million in 10 years, but in 2 3 years it will be more than 300,000. By the way, also the Swiss franc is very interesting. Sorry, the euro, euro versus the Swiss franc. And if we watch the technical analysis on this chart, this is a very powerful triangle that, in my opinion, will lead the prices to go lower and lower. And also, if we go to the projection page, and thanks to the time machine, we go back in the past, until we find a very high probability and very high robustness. Look, here we are, for example, here we have 86% of downward movement with the robustness of 5 stars. We can definitely see that Swiss franc has more room to go against the euro. Look, it's very interesting. Where we find a strong projection, we only see more appreciation for the Swiss franc. And this is very interesting. This is why, for example, today we just invested, we went long on Swiss franc, we went short on euro, Swiss franc. Very, very interesting, very, very important. Then, already done a review and the YouTube video, best service in the world. Thank you so much, Luca and team. Thank you very much as well.